Good morning. It's July 10th, 2024. My name is Virginia Ambrose. I was Virginia Dickey, and then I married into the Ambrose family. This is my mother-in-law, Ruth Ambrose, who is a lifelong resident of Hollowville. She is 98 years old, and she has lots and lots of memories. So you're here to hear about a few of them. Okay, now, go. Can you tell us a little bit about when you were young in Hollowville?
Yes, when I lived in Hollowville, there was the school, 2 grocery stores, the post office was in one, and in the other store it was like an ice cream parlor. And so that was a big village at that time. And what else would you like to know? I went to the school for through 7 grades. There was one teacher for 8 grades. And when the school closed, when I was in the 8th grade, 7th grade, and anyway, that's when we went to Rojan. They got a bus and we went to Rojanson. Now, you better ask me some questions.
Well, when you lived in downtown Hollowville, I mean, this is still Hollowville, but when you lived downtown in Hollowville, where did you live? What was your living situation?
We lived in a house that my grandfather bought. It had been a hotel. And my uncle lived on one side. We lived in another apartment. My grandfather and grandmother lived in another apartment. And the lady who had owned the place before had rooms upstairs. And so it was a big house.
Is it still there?
Huh?
Is it still there? Is the house still in Hollowville?
Yeah.
Okay. What about your father? What did he do for a living?
My father had the garage in Hollowville, and in the back room is called the stock room. He sold cigarettes, cigars, tobacco, candy, and I guess I had my fill of candy back then because I could help myself. And the school had 8 grades and 1 teacher. And just about all the little towns had their own school until they started going to Rojan. I don't know if some of them went to Hudson or not, but I know the bus came for Rojan, and that's where most of them went. And the kids from the top of Red Mill Hill up to Decker Road up the line, they all walked to school. And there was around 25 kids in the school all the time. So what else would you like to know?
Well, you went on to Rojan, and did you graduate from Rojan?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And where did you meet Vic? Where did you meet Vic, your husband?
When did I meet him?
Him. Where did you meet him?
He lived here. He went to school.
Did you go to school with him?
But he was 5 years older, so
Oh well.
made a whole bunch of difference when you're little. No difference when you get older. No, he lived up the road, and he with his family and brothers and sisters, and they all went to the school.
You were in one of the grades with one of his sisters, right? Were you in one of the grades with one of his sisters? Were you in one of the grades with one of his sisters?
No, I was not in a grade with any of his sisters.
Oh.
They were all in the same school, but there was 8 different grades.
Oh,
So
I thought you were.
everybody was in the same room. And when the teacher would call you to come up, you only had about 10 minutes because she had 8 different. So you better know what you're doing.
I guess so. Okay, so you graduated from Rojan, and then what happened?
Well, I went to work.
Okay, can you talk
And
about
I
that?
worked in Hudson for an automotive place, Pitcher Accessories. I had known Mr. Pitcher because he used to deliver parts to my father's garage. And he asked during the war, all the guys were in the service. And he had nobody to work. So he asked his partner, Mr. Ball, what do you think about hiring a girl? So I guess I was about the first girl that worked in the automotive parts. So I was there, I went there and I worked for them for about 5 years. And they couldn't believe, well, you learn wherever you work.
How did you know what to do when you got there?
Well, they told you.
Yeah, but I mean, you had to go get parts. You had to help people figure out what to do. How did you know?
They had a book this long, and you better find out what all the things were in that book, because they were all under the manufacturers of each one. So I like everything else you learn.
Okay, so you worked there for about 5 years.
Yeah,
Did you get married? Were you working there when you got married?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
And then what?
Well, I don't know what.
Well, we're sitting in this farmhouse, and so I think somewhere along the line you became a farmer.
Yeah, well, so I helped out before I got married because I was going with Vic. And if he needed some help, I would go and help. And after we got married, I used to work more, but, I wasn't running the farm,
Well,
but we worked. And when they made hay, the hay was raked up, and then you went through the baler and baled the hay, and then we got the local boys, high school kids, to help, and they'd pick up the bales of hay and put them on the wagon. And that's what you had. Everything was till we got a kick-up baler, and then it threw the bales right in the wagon. But everything had to be done before by hand, heavy. And then when we'd get here at the farm with the wagon loads of hay, I had to unload each one onto an elevator that went up into the barn, and we had guys up in the hay mow to stack the hay.
so you did a lot of hard physical work.
You betcha.
Wow.
Lots of heavy work.
But you had a hired man though. You had a hired man though too, Bill, right?
Yeah, we did. Yes, we had hired Matt. When if you could get anybody. We got one kid that worked for us for quite a few years. I don't remember exactly how many, but all of a sudden, we got more cows to milk, and we were milking a whole lot of cows, and Vic was going to extend the barn, and he decided he didn't want to work on the farm anymore.
Uh-oh.
So
That's not good.
that was that. But we still continued, and Vic, we cut down the herd to 40 cows. We had about 70 milk cows.
And they were all milked by hand, right?
No, you had machines.
Yeah.
Yes. But you still had to put them on the cows and take them off the cows. So, yeah.
I remember you telling me that you used to make a lot of loaves of bread to sell.
We'd make what?
You used to make a lot of loaves of bread to sell, I heard.
Oh, yes.
What about that?
Made 8 loaves of bread at a time. Kids came home from school, they ate a whole loaf because they were just coming out of the oven. But then when you were doing the farm markets later, I made jelly.
Mm-hmm.
And I made 6 kinds of cookies every week for
Wow.
for that stuff.
Your peanut butter cookies are a legend.
Oh, okay.
People are always asking me if you're still making peanut butter cookies. They want them.
Everything you did was work. And you just did it.
So, when you, what was it? What year did you get married?
When did I get married?
Yeah. When did you?
1945.
Okay, so you were already on the farm then, working.
I used to come and help out even before.
Okay, and then you had the 2 boys.
Yes.
When did that happen? What were the dates of that? Do you remember? Do you remember when Peter and David were born?
No, not offhand.
Well, I think
How old is Peter?
76.
Okay.
So I think
So-
it was 48. I think he was born.
And David was 4 years younger.
Okay. Well, just so that we get a little bit of an idea of when all this was going on.
But the kids didn't really work on the farm too much.
Well, Peter seems to think he did some milking when he came home from football practice.
Well, if Peter thinks he did, okay. But yeah, they had to help. But so if he thinks he was really running the farm back then, okay.
Well, he thinks he was helping with the milking.
Yes, both of the kids had to help.
Well, it's a family farm.
They're on the farm, they
It's
gotta work.
Yeah, so it's a family farm.
They didn't have outside jobs. Their job was right here.
And that sounds like it was a lot of job already.
They had a job looking in the face all the time. So I don't know what else would like to know.
Well, that gives I think a nice picture of your life. It gives you a nice picture of your life. What did you guys do for fun? What did you do for fun?
Work on the farm. You
Well-
couldn't go away.
Well,
We didn't have a vacation.
well, but you must have had friends over or gone on
We
picnics.
had friends and we did things together.
Did you go dancing?
And we did things. On holidays we got together, and on Memorial Day weekend everybody came here, and we did steamed clams and
Wow.
chicken and the whole deal. And then we used to go on other holidays, just some of the other friends. But that's what we did. We didn't go away on vacations.
Well,
You had to be here in the morning to milk cows, and you had to be here at 5 o'clock to milk cows again. So, and what else would like to know?
I don't know. Is there anything that you want people to know about the history of Hollowville?
Hollowville?
Yeah.
Well, I said there was the garage and 2 stores. One had the post office, and the post office is still there in the building.
Yeah, but wasn't your mother the postmistress? Your mother was the postmistress, right?
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
But
important.
that didn't do me any good. Yeah, she was there. Yeah, she was there. For a while, she was there quite a while.
Do you remember what year she started being the
No, I
postmistress?
do not remember the years that she started.
Well, I think she was working in the post office when Peter and I got married.
Well, then you know
Which
better
was-
than I do.
Well, so that was in 1971.